Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining this very important conversation that I am so passionate about having. My name is Helen. I am a sexuality educator. My pronouns are she, her, and today we are going to be having a book club discussion on the care and keeping of you too. I am just beaming with excitement because I had the first edition of The Care and Keeping of You. I still remember going to the bookstore with my mom to get it, and that book just profoundly impacted me, and I kept it. I still have it, and I still use it. Today, we are going to be talking about the newer edition, but I just think this book is the perfect guide to get you through some challenging yet fun and exciting and very rewarding years of your life. There are challenges that come up as we go through puberty, but we can get ahead of those challenges so that they're not so hard, and we can find ways to even make it an enjoyable experience. I teach sex ed to folks of all ages, as young as fourth grade, all the way to adults 50 plus at the community college that I work at. And I am so proud that in the Women's Center, we have copies of The Care and Keeping of You. So this is not a book that you read and then you're done with. You keep this guide with you throughout your life. I think that the age recommendation is 10 to 14 for this one. I don't think that's accurate. I think you can definitely use this book before age 10. I'd recommend age 8 or 9. There's also The Care and Keeping of You 1, which is excellent too. And then you never get rid of this book. I still have my copy. I have friends that have their copies, and we just love it. So I hope my passion for this wears off on you. And even if you're not as excited as I am, this conversation is really important in simply getting prepared for what's to come. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be hard. There's a lot of negativity around the conversation around puberty. I disagree with all of that. I think it can be fun. I think it can be empowering. And sure, things are awkward. We're going to talk about bodies and we can laugh along the way. There's nothing wrong with that. We're all human, and we're going to be better off if we normalize these types of conversations. So let's get into it. You can treat this presentation as either a book club, having had read the book, or maybe you have the book but you haven't read it yet, or maybe you don't have the book and you just want to hear my recap. Any of that is completely fine. Most of the themes we discuss are out of the book. However, as a sex educator with my own experience, I will expand on some topics. We don't have time to discuss every single chapter of this book today, so that's why it's so important that you have your own copy, even if you haven't read it yet, or at least check it out from your library. The topics highlighted in yellow here are the ones that we will discuss, and the format of this presentation will be that we're going to talk about staying healthy, sleep hygiene, body image, eating healthy, eating disorders, healthy relationships, peer pressure, consent and boundaries, hygiene, deodorant, acne and keeping clean, hormones, breasts and bras, body hair, the choice to shave and safe shaving, and periods. The Care and Keeping of You 2 is called the Body Book for Older Girls, recommended for girls age 10 through 14, although I think you're ready for it by 9 for sure. Some girls are ready for it by 8. And this book is by Kara Natterson, who is an MD. It's published by American Girl, and the genre is nonfiction, health, and wellness. So group agreement before we dive in. Number 1, this topic does require extra kindness and respects. Our bodies are core to who we are as humans, and so we need to protect them, and that involves the types of conversations we have around them. So this is a healthy space. This is a safe space. We are talking about facts here. The second rule is consent. Please know that you do not have to do anything you don't want to when you're here. You don't have to participate. These things can bring up a lot of big feelings and discomforts. So wherever you're at, how you approach this is right, and it is enough. And number 3, remember that every body is different, and it's important to consult your doctor about your individual journey. Healthy bodies. Throughout puberty, your body will change. At times, it may feel awkward and uncomfortable, but here are some steps you can take to stay healthy and keep you feeling good. Staying healthy has a lot of different elements to it. Eating healthy, getting active movement during the day, hygiene, so keeping your body clean and safe, regular medical checkups, avoiding drugs and alcohol, and having healthy relationships. Sleep is a huge part of this. So, sleep hygiene is a term that I recommend everybody do more research on. Sleep hygiene refers to a lot of tips and tricks and lifestyle factors you can do throughout the day to prioritize good sleep. So, you need 9 to 11 hours of sleep per night. More sleep is needed for people who are menstruating. So, as you're going through puberty, and especially the time that you have your period, that's what menstruating means. It means you have your period. Sleep is the time of night when the cells regenerate themselves. So that's why when we're sick or if we're healing from an injury, we need a lot of sleep because that is when the body heals. And as you're going through puberty, when you are on your period, your body really, really needs that time to rejuvenate. Go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every day, even on the weekends. Turn off screens 1 hour before bed. Screens have blue light in them, which signal to our brain that it's daytime. So if you've ever experienced having a day when you're so tired you can't do anything but you're on screens all day, and then you lay down in bed at night to go to sleep and you think, oh, I've been exhausted all day, I'm going to fall right asleep, but you can't sleep. It's because your body thinks that it's daytime. So if you can't turn off screens 1 hour before bed, aim for 30 minutes. If you can't do 30 minutes, at least 20 minutes. Also, many devices now have blue light filters that you can turn on. Also, getting time outside during the day helps your body stay on that routine. Only use your bed for sleeping. So this means no homework in bed, no eating, no TV in bed, nothing other than sleeping. Because if you use your bed for a lot of other things, it's going to signal to your body when you're in bed that you're there to do something else, not to sleep. You also want your room to be cool, dark, and quiet. So it's essential for me to have curtains that black out the light, or I wear an eye mask. I've used earplugs. I tell my Alexa device to play sleep sounds. I really like Babbling Brook sleep sounds. There's also white noise, pink noise, green noise. You can get a sound machine. Fans really help. Create a relaxing bedtime routine. So about 20 to 30 minutes before bed, do something relaxing. Maybe you like to color, to read, to knit, to stretch. Do some type of mindfulness like deep breathing, meditation, or yoga. If you're someone who likes to shower as part of your bedtime routine, do that in the evening. But if you're someone who likes to shower to wake yourself up every day, then keep that in the morning. If you mix it up, it could signal to your body that it's either time to wake up or wind down. Avoid caffeine and sugar in the hours before bed. Someone once recommended to me, if you need to have a big treat, a big dessert every day, it's better to do that like in the later afternoon versus late at night. So maybe you want to have your dessert when you come home from school. But the later in the day that you have caffeine and sugar, it will disrupt your sleep. And don't ever pull an all-nighter. I know at your age it's so tempting and it seems like fun, but this really throws your body off and it takes days to get back into it. So if you're thinking you're going to pull an all-nighter to finish all your homework, you're much better off going to bed and then waking up early to finish it. Your body is going to change a lot, a lot, a lot, and you might feel awkward at times. It can be uncomfortable, and that's normal. Your body is changing very fast. Remember that puberty won't last forever, and your body won't always be in this transitionary phase. So if you're struggling with something now, either that you don't like how you feel or how you look, just remember that it's temporary, and these changes are needed in order for you to grow into a healthy adult. During puberty, you will gain weight. That is a given, and that's not a bad thing. The alternative to not gaining weight is, I don't mean to sound scary or dire, but if you don't gain the weight you need to go through puberty, the alternative to that is like dying or getting very sick. So this needs to happen. And if you're not liking how something feels or how something looks, I promise you this time is very temporary, and you will grow into a body that is more comfortable. This time it can be uncomfortable. So we're going to give you some tips and tricks to make it through a time that can be a little iffy. Here's what not to do to navigate the discomfort you feel. So all of these things will make you feel worse, and they are not helpful. Dieting or taking any type of diet pill or supplement. These don't work, and they are going to make you feel very sick, and they will often backfire on the result that you want. Skipping meals, comparing yourself to others. Everybody goes through this journey at a completely different rate. So you may have some friends who already have a fully developed body, and you might have other friends who might still have a younger, more youthful body, and all of that is normal. It's okay that we are all going through this at a very different time. And weighing yourself. Let the doctor handle that. You shouldn't have a scale in your room, even in your house at all. It's not useful, and it causes more harm than good. Body image is how you see your body and how you feel about the way that you look. It includes your thoughts about your size, shape, skin, hair, and how your body is growing and changing. Having a healthy body image means appreciating your body for what it can do. Understanding that everyone grows at different times and in different ways. Treating yourself with kindness and not comparing yourself to others. So right now I want you to think and answer, what is one thing that you really appreciate that your body can do? I'll share mine. I really appreciate that my body can walk. I've gotten through a lot of hard times in life by just getting out and walking in nature, and I am so grateful that I am able to experience that magic. Where does body image come from? We constantly get messages about who we are supposed to be. We get these from media like social media, TV, movies, ads, which of course advertisements are always trying to sell us something, so they really benefit from making us feel bad about the way that we look so that we'll buy their products to try to make ourselves feel better. But of course those standards are unattainable, and the goal is that we just keep feeling more and more insecure so that we buy more and more and more products. And influencers often only show people one type of body, which can make people feel like they need to look a certain way. Filters and editing make it even harder to know what's real. People online today, they don't even look like real people anymore. There's a certain look that all of the popular people on the internet have, and it's not the look of a real human being. It's an unattainable standard. And we also get a lot of messages from the conversation that our friends and family have. So it's all too common for people to comment on people's weight, to notice if they've lost weight or gained weight. It's nobody's business, and we are so much more than a number on a scale. So that being said, while we never want to be going on fad diets or starving ourselves, we do want to eat well. Your body needs fuel, not restriction. If you want to eat healthy and have a healthy body, the best thing you can do is stay consistent with a healthy diet. If you starve yourself all day, then the next time you eat, you're going to eat like someone who has been starving, and you're more likely to overeat or to reach for something unhealthy because you're so hungry. You just can't even think straight. So, here are some things that help, always, but especially when you're going through puberty. So, calcium helps your bones, teeth, nerves, blood, and heart. You can get calcium from dairy like yogurt, milk, and cheese, dark leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, or collard greens, really good for your mood and your mental health. If you don't particularly like how these taste, sometimes people can consume them easier if they put them in a smoothie. So I like to make smoothies with spinach, frozen fruit, and a banana. You can also add honey. Calcium can be found in beans, orange colored fruits, and fish. Protein helps your muscles, and protein also helps you feel full, which is really important as you're going through long school days and sports and physical activities. You can get protein from fish and meat, beans, milk, cheese, and yogurt, soy products like tofu or edamame, nuts and nut butter, and eggs. Dieting doesn't work. Dieting will make you tired, moody, and less focused, and it often backfires by making people crave food even more. Every body grows differently. There's no perfect shape or size, and comparing yourself to others just causes stress. Instead of dieting, listen to your body's signals. Eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full, and choose foods that make you feel strong and energized. If you feel like you're overeating, you could try eating a little bit slower. You could make sure you're getting enough water, because sometimes our body does confuse being hungry and being thirsty, but going on a diet is only going to backfire. Take it from someone who has tried many times and it has never succeeded, and it has always just made me feel terrible. And I look back on my youth and I really do regret all the time I spent feeling sad about my body and trying to go on some diet that made me feel absolutely miserable. Balance is key. Enjoy fruits, veggies, grains, and proteins, and even treats too. Stress about food and looks doesn't help your health, but being kind to yourself does. Being kind and patient with your body really can get you to the results you want faster than stressing and punishing yourself for simply eating and being human. Moving your body, like playing, walking, dancing, or sports, should feel fun, not like a punishment. And real confidence comes from caring for your body, not controlling it. So I included this photo of the baby because I just want to get back to the point where I was like a baby. If you think about a baby, they just eat till their heart's content. They don't care if they make a mess. They're not ashamed of their bodies. They run around naked. They don't care. They're just free. None of us came to this planet hating our bodies. That was behavior that was learned, and that was very intentional because companies want to sell us products that they can only sell if we don't like ourselves. So let's all just be babies. Diet culture is the culture that we live in. Diet culture worships thinness. It ties weight to moral value. It promotes weight loss at any cost. It sets unrealistic body ideals. It disconnects you from body cues, so you lose that connection with your body that allows you to eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. It demonizes certain foods. There really are no bad foods. Of course, there are foods that are not nutritious. There are foods, that are processed and not healthy. But demonizing certain foods, I'm recording this right around the holiday season. We also have to live life and enjoy ourselves. It elevates other foods and creates guilt and shame around food. When you sit down to eat, it should not feel like a battlefield. You should not feel guilty or shameful for eating. You need to eat in order to live. If you do not have food, you can't really have much else. Diet culture also talks excessively about good versus bad foods or earning food with exercise. Food is not something anyone should have to earn. It is a basic human right and it is a human need. Food as a reward or punishment, praising weight loss without knowing the context, even if it stems from illness or distress. I had a period where I was very stressed out and I lost weight and everybody was complimenting me for it. And I was so hurt by that because I thought, if you only knew, this is not something to be celebrated. This is because I'm really hurting. And there are just so many other more interesting things about me, accomplishments that I'm genuinely proud of. My weight loss or my weight gain has nothing to do with that. Diet culture also promotes fad diets, detoxes, and extreme restrictions framed as self-care. Eating disorders are serious health conditions that affect how someone eats, thinks about food, and feels about their body. They are not a choice and they are never the person's fault. They often begin when someone feels a lot of stress, pressure, or sadness. Anorexia is eating too little food because of a strong fear of gaining weight. Bulimia is eating a large amount of food very quickly and then trying to get rid of it by throwing up, over-exercising, or using other harmful behaviors. Some people may eat normally around others, but secretly struggle with guilt or shame about food. Eating disorders can affect energy, mood, sleep, schoolwork, sports, and friendships. They can happen to anyone, no matter their body size or shape. Warning signs include constantly worrying about weight, avoiding meals, hiding food, feeling guilty after eating, or sudden change in mood or habits. Another really important aspect of staying healthy that often gets overlooked is the importance of healthy relationships. So, healthy relationships involve respect, care, boundaries, trust, communication, and fun. Having good friends and role models can help you learn how to have healthy relationships. Friends might pressure you to try new things like alcohol or drugs, but it's important to make decisions that are right and safe for you. So, what are boundaries? Boundaries are all about making choices that are yours. Boundaries help you define what you are comfortable with and how you would like to be treated by others. Boundaries can be physical, like with regards to personal space or physical touch. You should always ask before you give someone a hug. Your friends and family should be understanding if you tell them that you have boundaries around being touched in certain ways. They can be digital, like regards to online, or like taking photos, like no one should take your photo without your consent and the consent of your parents if you're a minor. You might have boundaries that you don't want to be put in a group chat with people that you don't know. And they can be emotional, like that you don't want to be friends with people who always talk negatively about others, who bully, who gossip, who always comment about people's weight or their appearance. So you can have those emotional boundaries. Let's talk about peer pressure. People who are your age, like your classmates, are called peers. When they try to get you to act a certain way or try to get you to do something, it's called peer pressure. You might want to be like your peers, even if they're not pressuring you. It's natural to want to fit in. Peer pressure is a type of coercion. Coercion is persuading someone forcefully to do something that they don't want to do through force, threats, pressure, or bullying. Consent is when we agree, give permission, or say yes. When it comes to our bodies, only we get to decide what happens to them. That includes things like hugging, kissing, or anything sexual. Tips to avoid peer pressure: be able to recognize it, trust your instincts, choose friends wisely, have a safe person you can trust, Practice standing your ground and saying no. Think ahead about the consequences. Surround yourself with people who accept you. Surround yourself with positive role models and stand up for what you believe in. Another important part about staying healthy has to do with hygiene, which means keeping clean. So, washing your pubic area. Your pubic area is the area that your vagina is in. Gently rinse it with warm water. If needed, use a mild, unscented soap only on the outer skin. Soap is great and important for keeping your body clean, but never wash the inside of your vagina with soap, sprays, or even scented wipes. The vagina is self-cleaning, and soaps, especially ones with perfume, can easily cause irritation and infections. They sell a lot of products that are scented for the vagina, but these products are often going to backfire because they easily cause infections, irritation. And so if the idea is to be using something perfumey down there to make it smell a certain way, it's going to backfire because an infection doesn't smell good. So just let your vagina clean itself, regardless of what products they try to sell you. Discharge. You might start to notice some discharge in your underwear, and this is nothing to be alarmed about. It's completely normal. Vaginal discharge is your body's natural way of keeping the vagina clean and healthy. It may be clear, white, or slightly yellow. It can start about a year before your period begins. That's a normal sign that your body is growing. If discharge has a strong odor, is green or gray, or causes itching or burning, it might be an infection. And even if it is an infection, the vagina is very sensitive and infections are very common. Deodorant. Body odor starts during puberty because the hormones called androgens wake up special sweat glands under your arm and in your groin. Deodorants reduce odor, but don't stop sweating. Antiperspirants prevent sweating altogether. Some people use both, others simply bathe regularly and skip the products. Aluminum-free deodorants help reduce odor with natural or mild ingredients. They can be a good option if you have sensitive skin or prefer fewer chemicals. I use aluminum-free deodorant. It did take me a while to figure out the best one that works for me. I found that some of them weren't doing their job, but I found one that did. And that's kind of a good analogy for everything. With going through puberty, you have to try so many different things to figure out what works best for you, from products to just general coping skills and all of the choices you make. I think that's one of the hard things about puberty, is that there are a lot of choices you have to make, and change is hard. Pimple prevention. Be patient. Mild acne is normal during puberty and often improves with time. Wash your face twice a day, morning and night, with warm water and a non-perfumed face cleanser. Avoid scrubbing too hard. This can irritate skin and make breakouts worse. Keep your hands off your face. Touching spreads oil and bacteria. Don't pop pimples. It can cause redness, infections, and scars. Wash your face after sweating, like sports, PE, or hot days, to remove oil and dirt. Use oil-free products if you choose to use makeup, sunscreen, or lotion, so pores don't clog. You want to use a different moisturizer for your face than you would for the rest of your body. Change pillowcases and face towels weekly. Bacteria love dirty fabric. Eat balanced meals and drink water. Your skin benefits from good nutrition and hydration. And if breakouts are painful or don't get better, it's time to talk to a doctor. This is very common during puberty, that you get little bumps that kind of look like acne on the back of your arms. I remember I had this. They aren't acne though, they're different. Many girls will have tiny skin-colored bumps on the back of their upper arms at some point during puberty. They are small, about the size of a pencil tip, and feel a little rough, but they don't itch, and they won't get bigger or redder. They are called keratosis pilaris, a fancy way of saying bumpy skin. The bumps might disappear a bit if you keep your skin soft, so try using a washcloth or loofah in the shower and apply moisturizer regularly. But truly, it is time that helps them go away. So I had them for many years. I no longer have them now. Hormones. Puberty starts when your brain sends signals to release special chemicals called hormones. These hormones tell your body it's time to grow and mature. They cause changes such as hair growth, voice changes, breast development, and periods. Hormones also affect emotions and energy, which is why feelings can sometimes swing quickly. Everyone's hormones levels rise at different times and speeds, and that's totally normal. The first stage of breast development is when your flat chest develops into breast buds. They may be tender and sore during this time. Some people keep their buds for months or even years. It can take up to 4 to 5 years for breasts to fully develop. Even then, breasts change throughout your life. Breast may get swollen or tender around the time of your period. Bras. Having a bra that fits you is very important. If you're wearing an uncomfortable bra all day, you're going to be uncomfortable, uneasy, on edge, and it's just not going to support all the other things you want to do with your day. So when finding the best bra for you, start simple. A sports bra or training bra is often a good place to start. They're soft, stretchy, and comfortable. I remember it did take me a little getting used to a training bra. But after a few days, I got used to wearing it. But if after that period, if you're going like weeks and it's still uncomfortable, that probably means that bra is not the right fit for you. Comfort matters most. The bra shouldn't pinch, dig in, or leave marks. You should be able to move and breathe easily. Get the right size. Ask a trusted adult or store fitter for help measuring. Every brand can fit differently. So, you might learn, like, people are just endlessly complaining about how hard it is to find bras, and I have found that to be my experience. You might spend hours trying on bras and you still don't find the right one, and it can be frustrating. But the good news is there are a lot of different styles out there. So don't feel like just because all the people in your life wear a particular style bra that, that's the type of bra you have to wear. There are so many out there and you should not be uncomfortable in your bra. Try different styles, check the straps and band. Straps shouldn't slip or dig into your shoulders, and the band should stay flat and snug around your rib. Look for cotton or breathable materials that keep you cool and comfortable. And no rush. Everyone's body grows at its own pace. Wear what makes you feel comfortable, and you can choose to not wear a bra at all. More body hair. During puberty, you'll notice new hair growing in places it wasn't before, under your arms, on your legs, and around your genitals. Underarm and pubic hair help protect your skin and reduce friction. Hair can trap sweat and bacteria, which may cause odor. Some people choose to shave or trim, and others don't. Both choices are totally okay. If you decide to shave, do it safely. Use a clean razor, shaving cream, and go slowly. Changing clothes daily, especially underwear and socks, can help you stay fresh and comfortable. If you do choose to shave, here are tips for safe shaving. Use a clean, sharp razor to avoid cuts and irritation. Soften your skin first with warm water. Shave near the end of a shower or bath. Apply shaving gel, cream, or soap. Some people like conditioner because it helps make it very soft to help the razor glide smoothly. Rinse the razor often while shaving to clear the hair and cream. When done, rinse with cool water and pat gently. Don't rub. Apply a fragrance-free lotion or aloe gel after. Never share razors. Okay, it's very common for people to share razors, especially if you're like at camp or in a sports locker room, but you should never ever share a razor. It can spread bacteria and cause infection. Do not share razors. Okay, it's not the end of the world if you have to skip shaving. I personally go through phases where sometimes I shave, sometimes I go months without shaving. Both ways are totally fine. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Replace disposable razors or blades every 5 to 10 shaves, or sooner if dull. Periods. A period, also called menstruation, is when the blood and tissue that make up your uterine lining leave the uterus each month. So the uterus is where a baby will live if you're pregnant, and the uterine lining is a sac made of blood that holds the baby and keeps it safe. If you're not pregnant, the uterine lining sheds each month. That's why some people feel cramps during their period. Your body is having little contractions to shed the lining. Period color and texture can vary from bright red to brown. All are normal. It usually starts between ages 9 and 15, but everybody's body is different. Some people don't get their periods until they're 18 years old, and that doesn't necessarily mean that there's a problem. Mild cramps, bloating, or mood changes are common. Rest, gentle stretching, and warmth, like a warm bath or a heating pad, can help. If periods are very heavy and painful or irregular after a year or two, talk to a parent, nurse, or doctor. So, in the first 2 years of your period, an irregular period is very common. So, most people get their periods on a cycle, which is roughly 28 days. Anywhere from 21 to 35 days is normal, especially when you're just starting. Period flow lasts about 3 to 7 days. Track your cycle in a calendar or app so that you know when it's coming. The cycle begins on the first day of your period. That's when the bleeding starts, and ends the day before your next period begins. So if your cycle is 28 days, that will be 28 days from the first day that your period starts. So the first day that you're bleeding, 28 days later, you'll get your period again. Or if your cycle is 21 days, then 21 days later, you'll get your period again. Tracking your cycle can help you understand your body better and is especially helpful when communicating with your doctor. So doctors will always ask, is your period regular or irregular? And so you might not necessarily know this unless you track your cycle. It's also nice to pay attention to the type of symptoms you get around your period, just so you can know your body and also communicate with your doctor. So, what are your options to manage your periods? Pads. Pads are soft absorbent liners that stick to your underwear. They come in different shapes, sizes, and thickness. There are pads for light, regular, or overnight. This has to do with the amount of blood that they can absorb. Some pads have wings that fold over the sides to keep them in place. Change your pad every 4 to 6 hours or sooner if it feels wet. Tampons are small cotton cylinders you insert into the vagina. They come with or without applicators to help the placement. Tampons must be changed every 4 to 8 hours. Never go over 8 hours. There is a risk of toxic shock syndrome, which is a sickness you do not want to get. And that's why tampons should never be used overnight. It's much better to use pads or period underwear, which we'll talk about, overnight. So, inserting a tampon for the first time can be a little bit intimidating, but here are some instructions. This is a bit of a personal preference, but I strongly recommend using a tampon with a plastic applicator, not a paper or cardboard one. I just find those much harder to use, and the plastic ones are a lot smoother and definitely easier for the first time. So for your first time, I would recommend the smallest size tampon with a plastic applicator, and always make sure that you buy tampons that are unscented. Scented tampons will irritate your vagina and cause an infection. And unfortunately, I have accidentally purchased them in the past. And I don't want anyone to have to go through that. So it's really important to wash your hands before you use a tampon. Take the wrapper off, and the tampon will be inside of the plastic applicator. So you want to open up your vagina with your fingers and insert the applicator as far as humanly possible. I know that sounds a little bit scary. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm worried like it's going to get lost up there. That's not possible. It can't happen. It's not going to get lost in there. It can only go so far. The reason you want to get it in really far is because it's going to be the most comfortable. When all is said and done, you want to be walking around not even feeling or noticing that you have a tampon in. And the way to do that is to get it in as far as possible. So insert it as far as it can go. Use your finger to push up the applicator and then pull the applicator out. The tampon will stay in and the string will be hanging down. If you can feel it, or if it feels crooked, or if it's not in far enough, simply take your finger and push the tampon in further. Again, it'll be a million times more comfortable if you do this. Once your tampon is in, you don't really want to pull it out until at least a few hours have gone by, because it can actually be very uncomfortable to pull out a dry tampon. So once you're, going to the bathroom, 4 to 8 hours later, and you notice that your tampon is leaking, or you could maybe see some blood on the string, then you can pull it out, throw it away, wrap it in toilet paper. Seeing blood can be jarring to some people, so we want to respect the others that are using that bathroom. Wrap it in toilet paper, or use the wrapper for the next pad or tampon you're going to use to wrap the dirty tampon, and throw it away. Period underwear, the best invention ever. I love these. Period underwear look like regular underwear but have built-in absorbent layers. They are washable. You just throw them in the washing machine and then reuse them. They are good for the environment and gentle on skin. They are great for sleeping, school days, or backup with pads and tampons. If you have a very heavy period and you notice that your pad or tampon is often leaking, then you could use that with period underwear. I've even seen that they have like period swimsuits now, which are so cool. And if you've never used them before, you can think, how could those possibly work? It is amazing science. They are just the most absorbent thing you could ever imagine. And so they really do hold it all in. There are also menstrual cups and discs, which we'll cover in the next slide. I would recommend waiting until you're a little bit more comfortable using a tampon before moving on to a menstrual cup or disc. However, once you are comfortable to use one of these, they can be life-changing because you don't have to worry about it all day long. Menstrual cups are flexible silicone cups that collect blood inside the vagina. They can be worn up to 12 hours and are reusable. You boil it first for sterilization, and then it sits below the cervix inside of the vagina. It's held in place by gentle suction. So you insert it by folding it in half and then even folding it again, inserting it right under the cervix and then letting it open, and you feel it create a seal. So then when you go to take it out again, you have to gently break that seal and pull it out. And a lot of people prefer to take it out in the shower so that you can just wash everything right there. Discs are very similar, but just a slightly different design. They are flexible silicone discs that collect blood inside the vagina. They can be worn up to 12 hours and are reusable. You boil them for sterilization before use. It sits higher up, right under the cervix, and is held in place behind the pubic bone. And some discs are disposable while others can be reused. And so a disc is like a little bit stretchier than a cup. but they are similar in what they do. And most discs and cups do come with instructions on how to use them. Thank you so much for taking the time to have this really important conversation with me today. I hope you know that puberty isn't something to fear. It's something you get to grow through. Your body is changing because it's getting stronger, wiser, and more you. You're prepared, you're learning, and you don't have to go through any of it alone. Ask questions, reach out to a friend and share what you're going through, and trust yourself. You've got this.